our channel. I'm so glad you've joined us.
We've created this to help you on your journey. No matter what part of it you might be in, training or learning, it's here to help you out.
And I'm happy to demonstrate.
You're a little guinea pig, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about a subject that affects absolutely every human being on the planet.
Food?
FOPO, fear of people's opinions.
Yep.
So the fear of other people's opinions can adversely not only affect your performance, but it can affect your well-being.
Oh, definitely.
So today I'm going to talk about how to perform without FOPO seriously affecting your style.
Switching it off from everything in your mind.
Yep. How your self-worth can help you to not suffer from excessive amounts of FOPO.
Bigger chip on your shoulder.
We're going to talk about some strategies on what to do when you get triggered.
Oof.
Yeah. So first a little message. Yes, okay. First a little message from our sponsors of the show.
Yeah, Equiloom. It's a great time of year to be thinking about Equiloom because coming into this time of year, our spring shows are coming up for a lot of the show horses. So it's probably a great time to be thinking now. You look at your horses still in the paddocks that are a little bit coaty. So it's probably a great time still to be putting on your Equilooms, get that coat to drop out a little bit earlier for your show horses especially.
Yeah, and some horses even coat up now, don't they? Because last night was one of the coldest nights we've had.
It was freezing.
It's really cold.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it.
So you can't block fear, you can't move it aside, so you've got to move through it somehow.
That's it. You can only move through it, which brings us to why we're doing this podcast, to help people actually get to know themselves and to have a few more tools for when you get severely triggered, not just as a horse rider, but fear is very prevalent in every human being's mind. So we can't control what others say about us, how they judge us, but we do have control over our own sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And if we have a good sense of self-worth, a good narrative ourselves, we're then able to cope with it when we do get severely and harshly judged by others. And I mean, the human is a communal animal.
Yeah.
You know, when humans evolved, if you upset your community and got left out of the cave, you were dead. So we've evolved being very afraid of what others think of us. And now in the days of social media, you know, and we're talking about this to dressage riders because, or, you know, not just dressage riders, but dressage riders in this case, who we pay people to judge us. And then you have the added joy of going on social media. And in today's current climate, where dressage riders are getting heavily trolled, fear of people's opinions is becoming an actual valid fear.
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, because you're worried about, I suppose, everything you do every day, that you're worried about what somebody's going to think of it. But, I mean, should you really be worried about what other people think of it?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think you should because, you know, for me, I have sponsors that are a big part of us earning. So it's important that we are perceived to a certain way.
Yep.
And I mean, we still stay authentically, completely us, but you know, the old days of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. They're over. Words can destroy people now.
Keyboard warriors, hey?
Well, they're a big problem. And, you know, I, in general, will just block them because I live by the saying, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So, unfortunately, people that take time out of a busy day to sit and say nasty things about other people are very rarely going to, you know, you would never go out of your way to say something nasty to somebody.
No. I did point out to a lady the other night that wanted to be a bit of a troll on Facebook that she probably should have checked her own photos before she picked on one of yours.
Oh, yeah, so this lady says something that I shouldn't have used this photograph to demonstrate. My post was saying, I love dressage because I can compete against a 6'3" man. I can compete against a teenager. Dressage is a great equaliser. You can compete, the rich and the poor can compete against each other. Like it does, the difficulty of dressage is a great equaliser in a lot of ways. And I said, you know, let's all stick together and be kind. And so then people got on there and said, oh, your horse is behind the verdict. Well, he wasn't. He technically
but
is
they
not.
They were picking on the photo.
Yeah. And your photo's terrible, you're a terrible person, and you're a narcissist, and you're a this, and you're that. And it was just absolutely ridiculous and super ugly. Now, generally, I will block trolls instantly because there's no point. But I also think that our industry does need to say, okay, so there's 500 people that liked the post, 15 people that didn't. The 500 people that had time to like the post then need to immediately address the trolls if they have time and they're present on the post at that time, and say, hey, hit the road, we don't want to talk about it. But nobody wants to engage because they're all scared of what people will say and do.
Fear of other people's opinion, which is interesting because even after you did that post and you were saying, oh, it's interesting how nobody's gotten on there and attacked the trolls back a little bit, and you then looked at me and went, well, neither of you. And I went, oh, you're right. And I thought, well, what am I scared of? So I just hopped on there and looked at a couple of people's opinions and then went, okay, well, what's on these people's social media Facebook pages? And I went stroll back through their photos and very quickly found this one lady who was riding around on a horse just in draw reins, no other reins on the bridle, just draw reins.
No other reins.
And
she was trolling and was just in draw reins.
Another picture of the horse's mouth, like open like that much with all its teeth showing and the bit pulled right back up in its mouth. And I went, well, it didn't hurt me to say to her, listen, I think you probably should need to look at your own photos before you judge somebody else's. That's all the comment I made.
But it was unpleasant for you to engage with somebody who's obviously nasty, who's obviously unhappy.
At the end of the day, I mean, it wasn't as if I had to pick up the phone and talk to her.
No, but she then attacked you, and you can't be bothered with that. You've got a big job. So I understand, why people don't want to stand up for each other. That makes sense to me. Unfortunately, if dressage is going to be taken out of the hands of the small few who are hypocrites, most of them are hypocrites. Some of them may truly, absolutely wouldn't even use a bit of fly spray, and they believe that every sentient being has a right to do whatever it wants, and they're beautiful people, but they generally will express their opinion in a kind way. I love...
Interesting, most of those people still wear leather shoes and live in...
And eat meat, so that an animal was murdered for them, but they're worrying about my nose band.
And they're still even just and the simple thing is, they're still riding a horse.
They're still riding a horse that was created by God or the universe or the Big Bang, or whichever way you want to look at it, was created as a food source. I mean, we are giving horses a better life than nature intended. I mean, that's a fact. Horses starve and are hunted. They were made to carry a grass belly. Unlike our horses who, I go out of my way to go and give my horse a kiss. I love him. No, I'm not the best rider in the world. No, I don't get it right all the time. I wish I did, but I definitely try. But I guess we're coming down to where did it fall and where does it sit with me that those 15 people, I left a couple of the lesser attacks on there. The other ones I had to block because they were disgusting. Where does that sit with me to continue doing what I'm doing when for some reason people now perceive me as a target to attack?
Because instantly your FOPO kicks in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's you don't, nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to accept that there are people in the world that absolutely hate you. They don't know you, but they absolutely hate you. But it
Shouldn't it be FOPO?
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 Fear of other people's opinion. So it's FOPO.
No, it's fear of people's opinions.
No, fear of other people's opinions. So it's FOPO.
I don't think it's FOPO.
FOPO.
But because I've been doing it for so long and it's a necessary part of my business, we have developed tools so that is not excessive.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be honest if I sat here and said that, no, it doesn't bother me at all. Because when people say that, you've got to have a little look at them and think, well, why are you not human then? Because it bothers everybody to accept the simple fact that there are some people in the world that just don't like you, whether they're right or wrong. It's a difficult thing to accept, but once you accept it, it becomes easier. And once you have the tools that we're going to share with you now, it becomes a whole lot easier to understand why people do it and how to cope with it. So I guess the first part is to talk about why do people judge each other harshly?
Well, I think it's, again, I think social media coming to that whole thing of, it's a lot easier. I mean, once before it used to be, around the outside of a showground, people would be doing, Chinese whispers, you might call them back then. Nowadays, of course, it's what we classify as keyboard warriors, and it's very easy for them to sit at home on a keyboard.
Yeah, but why do they do it? What is your opinion on why they do it?
I'm not quite sure. It obviously just makes
Greg's
them,
so enlightened. Okay,
it
I'll
makes
tell
them
you.
feel good in some weird way.
It couldn't, because it's toxic. It's like when you say, if you were an orange and you were squeezed, would juice come out or would toxic sludge come out? So for whatever reason...
Depends on where the orange was grown.
That's right. Well, that's quite true, Greg. But these people, in my opinion, are actually quite unhappy because it is, it basically, if you have spent some time studying human nature, people will always criticize the most harshly something they don't like in another person. So
what about then?
something they don't like in themselves in another person.
Instead of blocking and deleting these people then, we take down their numbers, we get their addresses, and we send them a get well card.
I think that would be beautiful. And when I talk back to them, I try never to respond to them, but every now and then I think, no, hang on, I can't just be attacked and walk away from it. I'm going to give them a little dose of reality.
Yep.
For instance, instead of trolling me and my horse that I've owned since a foal, and I'll own him and love him till he draws his last breath on this earth, why don't you go and save the dogs that are being boiled alive? Why don't you go and save the horses that don't get fed or watered and are then left in a garbage tip to die when they've finished their work? Why don't you sign up to stop live transport of animals or live export, where if the animals fall over on those when their horses are exported, they're just trampled to death. Like they open the back and just blood and guts runs out for the horses that have fallen over in the truck. Like that's cruel. That is horrific animal abuse and cruelty. A dog, in my opinion, and in lots of people's opinions, has a soul. You don't boil a dog alive. And I know that's their culture and everything else, and I'm not here to bash into anybody's cultures, but what I am saying is that there are forms of cruelty that are much worse than somebody putting up
but they're
a
not
photo.
easy pickings, are they?
No, they're
Because
big issues.
That person would have to go and search somewhere on probably an internet site to find something about that.
It's one step. Google, donate.
Yeah, but does it have its own social media page? No. So.
It does. But there's no jealousy involved. I think a lot of the time those issues are so big that we don't know where to start, and you don't trust where you're donating to. But you're right, I'm low-hanging fruit, and that's easy to go after. But I do think that when you actually look at a lot of these people's pages, there was one who's probably the most horrendous, damaging troll to other human beings that I've ever... I mean, she is actually gleeful when she's uncovering stuff, and some of the stuff is pure abuse, and it's wonderful that she's uncovering that and that those people are being brought to justice. Some of it is just normal dressage riding. And then you see a video of her and there's the whip in one hand, she's going after the horse, and you think, okay, well then why troll other people for their horse spooking? It doesn't make sense. So a lot of it is purely hypocritical. So for me, one of the biggest tools to dealing with it is just to instantly think, what part of me is responding to that? Is it the part of me that's a professional and I understand my feelings? I'm a happily married woman. Okay, that's ridiculous. I'm not taking that on board. Or is it the part of me that's like, geez, I wish that everybody would like me? And
I think also too, I mean, like just referring back to some of that stuff, some of those things are a moment in time, and some of those things are very old. So, like some of those videos.
Well, some of them have been AI too.
Well, AI is a wonderful tool nowadays to be able to, make somebody look really bad. But some of those videos are probably back in somebody's past, maybe when they weren't a good writer and they weren't doing a good job.
Well, all of us everything has come along such a long way. Like being raised, if the dog was naughty, my dad would kick it. Right? It was a really normal thing. And any of you young people that are watching this will be like, oh my God, it's disgusting. It is disgusting. I don't discipline my dogs at all, actually. They just do whatever they want, don't they, Greg? But we grew up, and that was a normal culture. We hadn't expanded to where we are now, where we're understanding that animals have the feelings and that there's different ways to do things, and that was a completely normal. It is active cruelty now, and the same with dressage. What used to be okay, you know, and a lot of people talk about the old masters, and some of you may get offended with this, but the old masters had spurs, big spurs, and big long shanks, and you know.
Well, it went through a whole era of training any animal, wasn't it? That if you wanted to get better, you had to inflict more. They thought that inflict more pressure, which then causes more pain. So whether it be a dog training, lion taming, you know, tigers, you know, circus animals, elephants, performing elephants.
And now we've
or
all moved
horses.
toward, you know, what we call operant conditioning. So for me to take a horse to Grand Prix, you can, an easy analogy is to make a dolphin jump through a hoop. You know, in the beginning, a dolphin doesn't just jump through the hoop when you do that. First you throw the fish through it, and it's a low hoop. And then it gets higher and higher and higher, and then eventually they set it on fire, and then eventually you can ride the dolphin through the hoop, and you know, and that's called operant conditioning. You just do it bit by bit, and you know, Grand Prix horses are the same thing.
Yeah.
But I guess what we're saying is that what is considered cruelty now, 50 years ago wasn't.
10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's wonderful and it's great, but I think that a lot of the trolling in dressage now, a lot of it, not all of it, definitely not all of it, and voices need to be raised against any cruelty, but some of it has just gotten really stupid.
Oh, it's gotten out of hand. I mean, it's ridiculous when, you know, the whole nose band thing, and you know, and yet.
And nosebands shouldn't be tight. If
Yeah,
you have
but-
to tighten your
they've
noseband,
done it-
find another
But again,
way.
it's the rules and regulations they then imply. It's, you know, no, we have to make sure nosebands aren't too tight. But make sure when you're riding at this level, you still have to have a double bridle on, and you must wear spurs. So, it's like.
Yeah, you should be able to do a bit less, you know, but I mean, all these rules will take time to change. But that just brings us always back to if your fear of people's opinions is excessive and it's spoiling the happiness in your life, go and look at that person. First, see whether their opinion is valid. Are they a super rider, a super mother, a super athlete, whatever it is that you really admire? And are you responding to it from your best self? Or are you simply, you know, responding to it in a panic because it's, you know, upset you?
Because that person that might be throwing their opinion at you, or at a friend
No,
of
they
yours,
may have no basis for their opinion.
they might be a person that lives in the back of Nepal in a brick house with no animals because they like to look at daffodils all
Well,
day.
there was one lady who was a chronic hoarder and took a picture of a house, and it looked like a garbage tip. She said, "This is what I think's beautiful," and I was like, "Why are you even looking at my post?" Anyway, so having a sense of well-being is actually a really big topic. But if you have a good sense of well-being, you won't mind what others think of you so much. It'll give you a
true.
moment of, oh, that's a shame, but you're not going to mind as much.
So as long as you sort of believe in what you're doing and you're doing it as best as your ability, and you believe in your methods, you believe in how you live, you believe in everything you do, it shouldn't affect you then under somebody else's opinion.
No, it shouldn't. But I think when somebody criticises you, say for instance, let's take something. Somebody said to me that my legs move too much in the rising trot. Now, my legs are bionic, and the doctors took them from being bowed to sitting them the opposite way. So they don't curl around the horse very well. And in rising trot, there's just a slight kick out of my lower leg. I'm also 5 foot tall, like I'm really small, and my horses are, one of them's 18 hands. So my foot sits on the widest part of the horse. Yeah, so when Andy was little, when I rode her ponies and my ankle sat down underneath the horse, my legs didn't move particularly. Anyway, doesn't matter, not much I can do about it. So when I got like, you're the best, worst rider in the world and everything else, you just stop for a minute, and to me this is what happens. And I know it's true for many people. They go outside of themselves and they look in, and you see what the troll is seeing. And it's painful because you think, oh no, yeah, I know my legs move too much. It's such a shame. I hate that about myself. And before you know it,
So you become the FOPO.
you've separated from yourself and you're trolling yourself. So your
Do you
mind.
send yourself messages?
But mentally, you're then what they created. That's what they want.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that is what human nature does. So you then become your own worst enemy. So that saying, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Without the tools to look after your mental well-being, you become your own worst enemy, because the narrative in your head swings around and you start attacking yourself. Everybody knows that. I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too this, I'm too that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do it, and when you get trolled, it does it even more. So the fear of people's opinions, unfortunately, brings it very close to home. And with social media, with people thinking, saying terrible things, you're too fat to wear that, you're too this, you're too that, it's really nasty behaviour, and good people know that you shouldn't do it, and that the only way for the world to be peaceful one day is if people are kind to each other. But healed people heal people, hurt people hurt people. So if people are toxic sludge inside, it's going to come out, and it's going to come out every single direction. And when they're upset, the sludge is going to come out even faster.
So we need to send them a get well card.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I often private message trolls and say, I'm really sorry that you're hurting, and I'm sorry that my writing offends
What do they
you.
say back?
Are
Are they shocked that you've messaged them directly?
No, they come back and they're even more toxic.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're really upset.
Or they say that I'm passive aggressive because they cannot believe that I actually am truly sorry, that because to splurge out that amount of ugliness, what's going on inside
So
is way worse.
when you go back to a person and say, are you okay? I'm really sorry that you're so upset.
Yeah. And I'm sorry my writing offends
They
you.
can't understand it and think that you're being passive aggressive, obviously.
Yeah, and then I say to them, just so you know, okay, I come across as this is what they call me, you're a shiny professional, grumpy dressage writer, but you're evil. And it's like, well, actually, we own our 3 horses. We bought them as foals. We paid them off over many years, and they're our pets. And yes, I have trained everybody's horses from all around the world. I've taught all around the world, but the horses that I'm photographed on are my own pets that I really love them doing. So yeah, that doesn't work either. There's no point. But you can't change the way people behave. You can't change what they think. Don't even bother.
So a get well card not going to help anyone.
No, you can change the way that you feel, and you can change the way that you respond.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back to what the podcast is about, fear of people's opinions is real. And the most important thing to me is the narrative that you tell yourself.
So you've got yourself pretty well trained then. So we're going to go into this shortly, obviously. You've got yourself very well trained as to how to deal with this.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen you come up through all this. I remember the first few times that you were trolled badly, and I watched you, and she nearly quit. She nearly quit everything. She nearly threw the whole social media thing away.
Horrendous.
She nearly stopped writing. It was a very close end to her career there for a while with some of those things going on.
Well, not to my career, but definitely to sharing so much
Oh,
on
to sharing
social
so much
media.
stuff, yeah.
When you realise how disgusting some people in the world are.
Well, when you think you're trying to help people and go, this is what we're doing, and
Well, and
you
this
guys,
is
here's a free video to help you get your horses going better if you want to use our method.
And that's where it all came from, right?
Or here's a lovely quote that might make your day happier.
Yeah.
And then people go, "Ah!" You go, okay. Have a nice day anyway.
I would like for people to say that my horses are mentally and physically shut down, and and they're just so alive and full of personality. But yeah, I have learnt to deal with it. It did definitely 10 years ago shock me and deeply concern me. That helping people and building a social media profile that was about helping people who didn't have the money to go to coaches, who just needed a little bit of inspiration that it could create this huge amount of hate. But when you say huge amount, you can have 50,000 people love something, but 10 people hate it. So it's still doing what we wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And I think that always comes back, is it your fear talking to you, or is it your courage talking to you? Because I decided that I was courageous enough to keep doing what I wanted to do, that my fear wasn't going to have a louder voice than my courage.
Yep.
We're going to just take a break now and hear from our sponsors.
That is in depth, isn't it? Yeah, let's get away from that a little bit. Guys, have you thought about also, we're getting very close to breeding season. Not that we are breeding a mare later on in
We
the season.
are, Toptilus to Glamourdale.
That was going to be a secret surprise later on. We're not going to do it to our own mare at this stage because we're breeding her a little bit later in the season. But have you already got your Equiloom mask on your brood mares, your dry mares, and even your wet mares? Because your mares should be starting to think about cycling now rather than later, because we're looking at we want our 1st of August type foals, so we're going to be breeding our mares around the start of September. So normally with my mares, I'll be looking at starting to do scans around July, August to start to see where they're up to. And if I've got an Equiloom mask on my mares, I know they're already starting to get their cycles going. They're already starting to drop their winter coats, and they're already started on their higher nutrition plane. And with the Equiloom, we've already then increased the daylight hours a little bit better with that as well. So we should have already had our masks on now for our mares. So, but it's not too late. Jump on it now and you get your mares cycling early.
We love the Equiloom.
Yep.
So self-worth is not a God-given gift. You don't either have it or you don't. Some people are naturally more confident and positive. So Greg, you're naturally a positive, confident person.
I think so.
Yeah, you're extroverted. Greg gains energy from being with other people.
Don't really care what people think because I know I'm good anyway.
No, you're very blessed, but you are more. You're a rare.
But also, I've made it easy. I've probably made it a little bit easy for myself because I haven't put myself underneath the pressure of the whole social media thing to a
But it
certain
wouldn't
extent.
bother you.
Probably
Anyway,
not.
would it?
I don't know.
Like it.
My last Temu ads were pretty good.
But like, for instance, we earn money by companies saying, do you like our product? Yes, we love it and we use it. Okay, can we pay you to do a video of it? And so we did one for Temu because we love their bird feeders and that kind of stuff.
Well, we do, and on those lines, we only do that sort of stuff for things that we believe in and they're good products. We don't just promote rubbish and things like that.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we
You
look
have
in-
to
we
be
look into-
authentic.
We look into every product that we ever promote and we ever collaborate with and that we're ever sponsored by. We look at all the companies and see how it works. So we're not just doing it just for the cash, we're doing it because we believe in the product as well. So
Yeah. But Greg couldn't give a toss if he got trolled. Whereas I was a little bit like, I don't know if I want to do that. So I guess building up your...
if they're talking about you, they're looking at you.
That's right, if they're stabbing you in the back, that means you're out in front, the
Yep.
tallest tree catches the most wind, all
That's
that
it.
stuff. We all know
Keep it
that.
up, guys.
But how do you build your self-worth? Because for every person that feels okay in themselves, that's another member of community that can then be kind to other people. If you're okay in yourself, then everything's okay. So how do you build your self-worth? Greg's like, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good.
You just have it. Well, it's mental training, isn't it? Really, I suppose it's about getting up every morning and thinking, well, am I happy with who I am and what I'm doing? Am I happy with the methods I use if I'm a horse trainer? Am I happy with how I treat my dogs?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Am I happy in my life?
Having a commitment to the discipline of treating your animals well at all times in their feed regime and your treatment of them. But also, what a lot of people don't realise is that you can choose your thoughts. So if you get up in the morning and think, oh, bloody hell, it's cold, I'm tired, or whatever, you can replace that with, oh, I have a lovely new coat. Once I finish doing...
My wife will bring me a nice hot coffee.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can flip that around, catch those thoughts and go, those thoughts make me feel bad. These ones can make me feel better. So for instance, training my horse. I'm never getting anywhere. I'm so concerned about this, all the money, it's so hard. You could flip that and say, she's actually a little better in the trot today. I felt like she had a little bit more spring today. I'm really proud of myself that I'm spending my money on something that I really love.
Yeah.
And isn't
Said
it a
about
beautiful
food.
day today? And if you can't change that thought, you're going to find that you get in a maelstrom. And then, unfortunately, fear of people's opinions will really, really affect you.
It's
If you're
building self-worth, isn't it? Yeah, so
Yeah.
you get up in the morning, it's pouring down with rain, you think, oh, I don't want to have to go out and do that. Well, you don't have to. You can change your course for the day and
you
go and do
can
something
choose
inside.
again.
And
That's right. You
you
can choose again.
you're not forced to. Somebody's not holding a gun at you to go and do that stuff. So you can change that, which then of course is going to change your thought pattern a little bit. And you think, oh, it's a horrible cold morning. You know what? It's a horrible cold morning. The horses are actually quite happy in their stables for an extra hour. I'll wander down with a cup of coffee shortly and I'll feed them there.
But it's so hard because human beings, we're hardwired for negativity. That's how we survive.
Yeah.
You know, don't go outside because you get eaten. Well, we would have got eaten. So it's important for us to take stock of what is negative, what is dangerous. But now we are actually able to rewire our brains and lean into the more positive.
Frenchies are wrestling. Ah!
So I guess you can say, oh no, all those people saying terrible things about me. Or you can say, there's nothing I can do about that. I trust myself as a trainer. You know, tell yourself the good things. Like for me, I think dressage is not who I am, it's what I do. But who I am is, you know, I love nature, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I love my animals. So you just instantly, the moment that you get trolled or criticized or whatever, you just stop and think what's actually really important. All those negative things, you just
Well, I guess,
change your thought pattern.
it's not like the old Wild West where somebody peeps you off and you just go, bang, you're dead then.
You wish it was.
You don't have those options anymore. So
Thank
again,
God.
you know, but what does it matter if that 2, 3, 4 people out of, how many people are in the world now? What's the world population?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Trillions, billions, I don't know. But
Yeah.
if there's only a handful of people that have some weird negative reaction to something you're doing, what does it matter when
Exactly.
probably compared to them another, well, what do you say, with some 5,000 views? So another 5,000 people have seen something you've done and have either liked it or just they've watched it but they've made no bad comment. But a couple of people have made something bad, so why should those couple of bad people spoil your day?
Well, exactly. And I guess we did this podcast because a lot of people won't compete or stopped competing because they're so afraid of people's opinions. So it is a really big topic, you know, and I've started with people's reactions on social media for trolling because I know that a lot of young girls are finding it really hard to cope with it because they're all copying it too. So my experience of 10 years ago of the shock and the pain of it really taught me a lot, and learning to actually go, I can catch those thoughts as they come through and immediately divert them. So it's like, did you ever read the Bible? I can't remember which part of the Bible, I should know because my father was a minister. How you had to, he said, dig the ditches and when the rains come, it'll fill the ditch.
Yep.
But if you think about it, when you put the drains in the driveway, okay, the water hits it and runs straight to the drain. So our thoughts are the same. So we have...
Dig a ditch in your head.
No, but so for instance, when I say to you, Greg, it's time to get up in the morning, your thought process most mornings will be almost exactly the same. So you will have...
At the moment, not very easy.
But people's thoughts will run straight to the path that they've carved out for their thoughts.
Yep.
So for me, if I was saying to myself every day, oh, I'm going to get out of bed, it's going to be really hard, it will take me an enormous effort to then
Get out of bed.
to get out of bed, and then to switch my thoughts instead to say, I am looking forward to having a coffee with my girlfriend later this afternoon. And you know, something good and different, because our thoughts run straight to the way they've always run, and switching them to be more positive and to be nicer to ourselves is actually a really big job.
It is. Huge job. Man, yeah, because you do get into patterns, don't you? You're either a morning person or a night person sometimes. But I suppose
Or a depressed person or a happy person.
Yeah, but it's a matter of of, and I suppose that's why the psychologists and psychiatric
Greg
people
wouldn't even know Mr. Happy
make
Go
a
Lucky
fortune
here.
nowadays, because people are trying to change their mindsets, and I guess
People are starting to see that there is a possibility of being happy, even though life is chaotic and difficult and full of people that don't worry about global warming and dogs being boiled alive, and life is difficult and nobody escapes suffering. Nobody.
no, but you've just got to make the best with what you've got, and
And one of the ways to do that is to be able to recognize thoughts that don't serve you. So in the case of people's opinions, worrying about people's opinions doesn't serve you, doesn't make you
No.
happy. So the best thing, if people's opinions are seriously concerning you, is to redirect your thoughts. Okay? And when your fearful thoughts get going, they talk fast and they sound true. Like, oh, if you ride at the show this weekend, everybody's going to say that you're a bad rider and that you're this and you're that. And we believe it. It goes, and suddenly, oh, that judge doesn't like me, blah, 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 blah. And I've watched friends and students talk themselves out of being able to do what they really, really
Yep.
love.
Yep.
So the best thing for fear is to not see it as an enemy. Is actually to listen to your fear, to turn into it and say, what are you here to tell me?
Yep.
Okay, so in the case of everybody talking about you when you go to a show, for me, that immediately would make me realise that I'm not centred and that my self-worth isn't right, and I would go and meditate and find centre again. That would be the first thing that I would do. By doing that, I would recognise that I don't give a shit what people say about me. I'm there to test my horse under pressure, because that's the best way to test my training. But I know going into the show that I then have to have a really good mantra going into it. Everybody's will be different, so when you set yours, make sure it's honest. Like, I wouldn't go into a show saying, oh, my horse is the best in the world, and I can, I ride it like a stolen, and like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but you love that kind of stuff. Greg loves all the pumped up hype. For me, I say, I've worked really hard. I've done the best preparation I possibly can. I'm going to go and take care of my horse, and he's going to take care of me. And that's it.
Well, it simplifies it, doesn't it? Because it's then not putting pressure on you that you've got to get a certain score or do a certain time over a jump or collect a certain champion ribbon or supreme ribbon. It's about you just saying, well, I'm going to do the best I can do today, which then doesn't give you actually any level of where you've got to achieve to. But as long as then you at the end of the day, you walk out and go, the best good. Happy with my horse.
But that's a mindset. What I'm saying, and I do it for my students too, is that they write it down on a piece of paper and they have it in their pocket, and when that whirlpool starts of, oh, those people are saying that about me, and there's a person, before the whirlpool gets going, you stop and you get your mantra out and go, right. And that will redirect your thoughts and help, because everybody has a fear of people's opinions. Everybody. Excessive fear of people's opinions will stop you doing what you love most. Whether that be competing or ballroom dancing or whatever it is.
Going to the shops.
So changing the narrative, so don't go down the pathway you've always gone. Catch yourself and think that thought doesn't serve me, and I'm going to replace it with thoughts that do. Having a mantra, or just a little post-it note that whatever it is. For Andy, she always goes, when it's over and done with, we're going out for dinner. But Andy likes, that makes sense to Andy. When she was little, she wrote it out and she said, I hope I don't get bucked off today.
Well, that, I suppose, and it's an easy goal, isn't it? Saying you can't wait till it's over and get ready for dinner. I suppose you could go, well, the competition doesn't mean anything, really.
And it doesn't. No. Well, see, Greg's very competitive, which is weird. People think that it's me that's competitive. Greg is super competitive, and he'll often, go aside with the coach. I'm not. Look, I need to do well. It's part of my job, but I am very aware that I can only do as well. My competition level will fall to the level of my training. So if I'm training here, my competitive performance will be somewhere up there, and that's all I can do.
Well, that's right, and it's important then that my opinion for what she does at a competition is always an enforcing type thing to make her feel good about it. So she might do a first test, comes out, and she asks my opinion. How did it look? Looked amazing. I thought it was great. What do you think we should do next test? Oh, I don't know, just ask him to do a bit more, ask for a bit more length and stride in the canter or something. I don't know, it looks pretty good to me though. That then gives her self-worth. Okay, so it's important
No,
then...
that's it though.
But-
You can't.
But that,
You can't give me self-worth.
well, sorry, it gives you, it makes you feel good, which then
Yeah.
helps you. So it's important that, so we talk about FOPO, so fear of other people's opinion. It's also about your peers. So if you want to come out from doing a class and asking somebody's opinion of how you went, make sure that person you ask is somebody that's going to be a bit positive about it as well. Not somebody that's going to go, well, on that first line, I
That's
saw,
me.
and then they start this, and this. No, it's about asking somebody with a positive opinion about what they think should do. I've carried her through state championships and come out to the cyber championships because I've given her honest, good opinions of what I thought the test was and how it was
You
going to go.
carried me through the show. Didn't I carry you through the show?
So my opinion, back to her when she asked my opinion, had to be a positive opinion. What am I going to do? Go, well,
Were you
it's
off?
all right, but
You could
I
have done
thought
better.
I thought you could
Fatty.
have done better. Like you only scored a 75%. I thought you could have done better. How's that going to help her? So
Well-
so there's the other side of the spectrum thing is when you're asking somebody's opinion. Don't ask somebody's opinion who's going to give you a negative opinion.
Or don't freaking ask their opinion.
Don't
Who
ask.
cares? Because at the end of the day, you know if you nail the things that were most important to you. So Greg and I will often say, I'll come out of the test just absolutely elated that my horse has showed up for me and it was wonderful and everything else. And then everybody starts going, oh, congratulations or good score.
Yeah, it's like, oh, shut up, people.
Well, that is, we don't look at the scores between tests because you have to stay focused on your horse. If the score was really high, you have the possibility that you might want to go that high again because you suddenly do get competitive. Score is really low, it can affect your relationship with your horse where you push him a little harder because you're hoping to get higher. Whereas if you come out and you're elated and that felt great that he actually stayed uphill in the bridle, he nailed his changes and all the things that horse riders know that they want to do going in, hold on to that. The judges' scores, especially some judges, are really, really important because they give you an instant mirror of yes, it was good enough, yes, it was uphill enough, or no, you need to make that look more stretchy, more relaxed, whatever it is. So it does matter, but ultimately for your well-being, the feeling you and your horse have coming out of the ring, that's the one that we try and stay focused on.
Definitely, it's really important because, or if they come out and they're a bit upset with how things went, you go, look, I thought it was great. I thought it looked fantastic. So as a support crew, it's my job then to maybe if she's something's gone wrong and she knew she missed something, it doesn't matter. I thought the rest of the test was beautiful.
That is a really tough feeling to come out and feel like you've let your horse down, that you didn't have him enough this or enough that, and it does happen. You miss. You might have a baby horse that had way too much energy and he gets scared when he gets in there and that sort of stuff. But I think that a lot of people forget all that and come out and think, oh, everybody's going to be thinking this, and and then they go looking for proof of it on social media or by talking to their friends.
Yep.
And if you go looking for proof of it, you'll always find that there's somebody out there that's criticizing you.
Oh,
But again, when they're criticizing you, that is because there's something intrinsically wrong and hurting in them. Because a top competitor doesn't have time or the inclination to look at somebody doing their best and think, not good enough, fatty. That's just not nice. People don't do that.
so find those people and send them a get well card.
Don't waste your money.
All right, so we're at a competition,
Mm-hmm.
and we've arrived there. Your test might be mid-morning, so there's already a fairly good buzz going around the competition grounds. People might be doing some good scores for the morning. How do you then, and how have you prepped your morning? Because I know you start really early, so I know what she does, but how do you prep yourself to get into that zone So you're going to deflect all bad feelings and bad thoughts, FOPO.
Yep.
You're going to deflect that all from that
Uh-huh.
period onwards. How do you start preparing your mind for that?
It starts usually, like I'm always in that zone, but 3 days before the show. I do try to ask my coach, don't come in and say, you know, you're against this person and that person and you should be scoring this, and like it's just me and my horse. Leave all that shit out of it, please. And then you have your mantra, which is, you know, I have no attachment to outcome. I'm going to take care of my horse. He's going to take care of me. I've done my best, and my best is going to have to be good enough, right? But then I usually have some earpods in. I'm listening to my favourite music, which will often be an indicator of what horse I've got. So classical music for the really fierce ones, upbeat, you know, fun music for the lazy dull ones or whatever. And I will meditate usually an extra half an hour in that morning, just to completely focus on all the beautiful things in my world. And then I stay in my bubble. I don't, I love to say hello to everybody, but I don't socialise too much at shows. And once I'm in the zone, I just stay in it. And nothing else exists but me and my horse. And my
Yeah,
beautiful
so it's,
husband and my gorgeous daughter. And
We have sort of set jobs normally at comps,
We
and
do.
so my job is always to take care of the horses, get them tacked up. I have a time run sheet. Rochelle's job is actually to stay the hell out of it, and she'll
well,
either
I
be
don't
sitting
like that. But
she'll either be
Greg
sitting in
makes
the float.
me, he doesn't like me helping saddle up or
It's
anything.
terrible. So she'll either be set up
Too
in the float
picky.
somewhere quietly, or she'll sit in the car quietly. And she usually, you'll see people walk past and go to talk to her, and it's like, no, don't. She's getting ready for test. Don't do that. Because it's important for her to have a time, her space, to get it all in her head. The last thing I want is for them to go, Shell, okay, you've got 5 minutes to get on, and she goes, but I haven't done my study, and I haven't done, because I said, well, you should have been having a cup of tea with Vivian, whatever her name was. So she has a
I
really
don't know
good set
any
routine getting when she gets to a comp, and it's very, if you're looking for her at a competition, she'll either be in the back of the float, sitting quietly, with earpieces in, so she can't hear you anyway, or she'll be sitting in the car, sometimes with the doors locked, so nobody can actually even open the doors. So it's a good thing to
Well, and you know, if you're a very social person, you can get caught not prepared enough because you've been socialising too much. So yeah, I will find a quiet space for myself.
do. And then you're
for at
away
least
from other
20
people's.
minutes.
Then you're away from everybody else's opinion, aren't you? Because
And
there's
everybody
not the
else's
person,
energy.
Yeah,
as
there's
well.
not the person going, oh, did you see such and such's test?
Well,
Did you see
point.
what they scored in your in your
And that
their-
judge is an idiot.
Yeah, they're in your test, they're in your level, and they scored this, and the judge said this.
Well, poor thing, Andy, before CDI, before she even did a test, everybody in the aisleway was saying, oh, the judges are terrible, they're playing on their phones, the scores are so low, this show's terrible, the surface is terrible, they're terrible. And it actually affected Andy's performance. Going in there, thinking the judges are going to do this, the surface is crap, you know, and the whole vibe was, I thought, everybody was feeling really, really down. And what they were saying was valid, but I said to Andy, you need to keep your earpods in, you shouldn't have heard any of that. And if I'd been competing, I would have had my earpods in. And I smile at everybody, and I can't wait to hang out with everyone. But 20 minutes before my test, I don't want to hear any of that.
It is a problem being stabled sometimes, isn't it, like that? Because you're actually then you're in the community. And
But it's the best thing about shows,
it is.
hanging out
It
with
is.
everyone. But 20 minutes before your test, I don't want to hear anything. And usually between tests, unless you've usually only got an hour, but that hour I'll just sit quietly, I'll assess what I wanted to do better, drop that first test and get into my next one. So, fear of people's opinions, when you're at shows, it's coming at you pretty fast. So it's really important that you are 100% centered in your own well-being and focused on what you're doing there and why you're there. And don't let your fear talk to you, because it does talk fast. And it seems like it's talking sense, but it's not.
That's right, and don't forget, guys, it's not just pre-comp; it's then post-comp. Don't then come home, sit down feeling absolutely elated with your results, because then you finally sat down and looked at your scores, or you've ridden out the ring with this massive big garland on, and you thought this is a great day. I've won supreme ridden hack or whatever it might be. don't then come home and you sit down and see you want to do a social media post. You want to you want everyone else to enjoy your enthusiasm as to how you've gone, or you've got to put some stuff up for your sponsors. Don't then sit there and read the horrible responses that some people will give you. Don't take that on, because that's just going to push you back down to their level again. I mean, and that's what some people want to do, of course. They want to, oh, well, he only won because, of course, he had the judge over for dinner last week.
But if you have friends that are telling you what people say, they're not your friends.
They're not your friends.
They're trying to hurt you by repeating that, because you don't repeat hurtful stuff.
No.
It's really important. And like, once we post and respond to our friends saying congratulations and remove a few trolls, that first hour or so, we delete the apps off our phones. So I wouldn't have a clue what's going on there once it's done, because social media is a way of connecting with my friends who couldn't come to the show, and it's a business tool.
Yep.
So I'm not going to allow FOPO to ruin either of those things. I want to connect with my friends. I've made friends all around the world on socials, and when we've been traveling and doing horses, and I want to stay in touch with them. One of my best girlfriends isn't a horsey at all. She said, I can't wait till after a show and you put your reel up. Can't wait to see it.
Well, it's nice. It gives them a feeling of being involved in it all as well. And I see all those comments coming through and people congratulating. Oh, who are these people?
Well, that's what you've got to focus on.
That's what you've got to focus on.
There are nice people in the world. There's so many nice people in the world.
Yeah, and so don't fear reading sometimes what people's opinions are, but just scroll past. If you don't want to read it, scroll past it.
Or just block them.
Just block.
They're awful.
Block and delete.
It's easy.
Scroll past. You don't have to sit there
and don't take it on.
Oh.
If you feel yourself getting outside yourself and having a look and thinking, oh, so why did they say that? Just no. What they've said is purely about them. Because
and
nice
it's only
people,
their opinion.
Yeah, but often their opinion isn't based on any expertise or experience. So if you look at let's say, for instance, a beautiful Grand Prix horse, and you decide that Grand Prix horse is the rider or the horse or whatever is rubbish and it's terrible. How do you base that on? Like, for instance, you base your experience on, you've been working in this field for almost 60 years, right? And you've studied and trained all over the world. You've ridden for 35 of those 60 years, about 40 years of that. You married to a dressage rider who studies and trains with coaches all over the world. So your opinion on that dressage horse, I would be interested in that. Because you've produced them, you've ridden them, you've bred them, you would have a fairly good opinion on that. A judge's opinion, I would be interested in their opinion. Where are you seeing that from? Somebody that rides themselves in drawings, who rides bitless perhaps, right? I'm not saying if you ride bitless I'm not interested in your opinion. I'm saying that your opinion is coming from a different place that doesn't have much bearing on what I want to do. Or the guy that believes that there's lizards ruling the world from underground. Or the guy that believes the world is
there's a valid
flat.
opinion you should listen to. The guy that believes there's lizards.
So his opinions, I think he's an interesting character.
Silly opinions.
That's silly, but so I guess you have to first see if their opinion is valid. And everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. They're welcome to it, but not everybody's welcome to have an opinion that's getting inside my psyche.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really interested in certain people's opinions, and I'm perfectly happy to talk to some people about their really weird opinions of things. Like, somebody said to me on one of my posts that he didn't mean to be, what does he say? No hate. But why we're cleaning the horse's sheath out to show people, because it's important. It's an important health concern, especially with older geldings. But why would you do that to him? What happens in nature when they do it? And I was like, well, buddy, in nature, he wouldn't be a gelding for starters. He'd be a colt. He would have either been killed by another colt, right? Or roaming out around by himself with his couple of mares, and he would be cleaning his penis with a mare, like nature intended. So, and by the time he's 21, he'd be dead, eaten by something. So a video of me cleaning a 21-year-old gelding sheath would have no relevance to what would happen in nature, because he wouldn't exist in nature.
Yeah.
And horses would barely exist in nature anymore anyway if they weren't bred for sport. You know, the days of saying, oh, this one isn't very good, let's just turn him out to run on the prairie, I mean, they're over.
Well, yeah, the days of having horses in the wild are over, certainly. I mean, we're shooting our brumbies nowadays from helicopters.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother subject that Greg and I will fight tooth and nail over that one, won't we?
It's insane, but yeah, look, they're there anyway.
But being rational and reasonable is really, really important when you're dealing with FOPO.
Definitely.
And excess of it will stop you moving out of your comfort zone, right? Because to do anything you want to do, you're going to move out your comfort zone. Working out, eating well, competing, any of the things that are a little harder, you've got to move through the comfort zone. And the worst thing of moving through your comfort zone is then you've got to move into your fear zone. To get to the goal, there's usually a fear zone of, I'm going to feel really, really hungry. That workout's going to really hurt me. Got FOPO of people's opinions when, I've got all sorts of worries about competing. There's so many different fears, right? So you go comfort zone, fear zone, and then into your goal. So it becomes a really tricky thing if you're balancing all that out mentally. So having the mental tools are really important.
Yep.
If something absolutely triggers me, now this has happened to us, hasn't it? Where we have had to park next to, I don't know why they parked next to us, they could have parked anywhere, a girl who had done something really awful. And I did not want to be parked next to her. I really found it quite, every time I'd go to get something out of the esky, a mother would be standing there giving me a dirty look, and and I thought, okay, right, I have come out of my bubble, I'm finding their behaviour offensive, and I am right outside my centred, happy person, right? So, my easy way through it is breathing. So it's become this really sort of trite thing, like take a breath.
Breathe on.
Take a breath.
Fire breathing drag.
No, not to breathe on them. Although first thing in the morning we've been up since 3, you probably breath would have disgusting coffee breath. So we do box breathing. So you breathe in for whatever. For me it's 10. Breathe in for 10. Hold for 10. Breathe out for 10.
I do
And then
4.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm more
Like a
enlightened
small
than
box.
you, Greg.
My box is small.
I don't talk about my box with you, Greg. And then I hold for 10, right? And then breathe in for 10, hold my breath in for 10, exhale for 10, and then don't inhale for 10, right?
It's
and
impossible to breathe in for 10.
I could do it right now.
Don't go there.
But other people have different breathing. Breathe in through your belly, inflate it like a balloon, and then breathe through your collarbones, then breathe into the top of your head, and then out through your heels. Right, that's my other favourite one.
Breathe through your heels.
And then I'll say to Andy, if I'm really like, whoa, this is really, really hard, I'll say to Andy, okay, tell me the good things. And she'll say, Jackie boy. And I think of Jack's beautiful tortoiseshell eyes, his big face. And I think, yep, I'm getting there. And she'll say, you love daddy. And I'll think, yeah, dad stuck with me through everything. And then she'll smile and she'll say, and me. And then I'm instantly recentered because I'm so used to doing it.
Unless Andy's being naughty, then you're like, right, and you!
Yeah, that's right. Now give me another one. But if you have your tools in place, so you can catch the narrative, the story you're telling yourself, and replace it with another one. You can catch
So
negative.
the FOPO goes away.
Yeah. But be honest. We are a communal creature.
By overstimulating your brain with oxygen, FOPO goes away.
No, Greg.
Oh, that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, but see, all of this to Greg, Greg's just like, yeah, what? No, it's no problem. Because Greg doesn't suffer from any of this. Greg is an alien of some description. And I often think that in our marriage, actually.
Well, I mean, people have their opinion. I mean, most of the time they're wrong. Well, 99% of the time they're
Okay, so when that woman said to me, said to you actually, oh, well, you would be a real mongrel because you're friends with that Heath Ryan and you're this and you're that. It didn't bother you at all?
No.
It seriously didn't?
No, it's, yeah,
Okay, well, shut up then. You're an alien. We don't want him on the podcast anymore, do we?
Like,
look, and again, I had to instantly come back to my breathing and think that poor
But
woman.
it offended her that they were having an opinion on me. And I sort of, she was like, well, you're obviously upset about it. I went, well,
No,
No.
he wasn't. He
I-
wasn't. Nothing to worry about there.
I just couldn't be bothered. I'd said my piece back to her. She'd had her opinion on something I'd said. I'd then gone and went, well, for a fact you are wrong because this is the fact that I found on you. And then she had another weird go back. I mean, I went, well, that's a weird opinion to have, and it's not.
Well, and then in the meantime, there's no more airtime for those
No,
people.
it's
Like
like,
you cannot convince them. So airtime done, flatline, yeah. But guys, I really do hope that helps you. And we are doing a course where we will have written material for you, tools that you can use rather than just chatting. And Greg's not doing any of the written material because,
Summarised, get over it.
yeah, see, he's not.
No, it is very true, and it's a big thing, especially with the introduction of social media. It's a big problem nowadays because it does affect a lot of our top athletes anywhere, whatever they're doing. What sport you're doing, FOPO
Well,
is
all
there.
the top athletes don't even have their social media coming into an Olympic Games or whatever. Like they just don't even use it. They don't go anywhere near it.
Football players, soccer players,
Yeah, we've all
runners,
got to have.
they've all got it.
If you want to be made of steel, you have to learn how to be super soft and really take care of yourself.
You need to train with me.
We need to train with Greg. Yeah, well, it works for me. All right, guys. Well,
And one last note, just remember, not only Equiloom masks, guys, think about installing ready for the season the Equiloom stable light system.
we're getting there. We're so excited about
It's a
it.
great system because the light is a permanent fixture in your barn. It does go for 24 hours a day. It differs in different lights, so it's really interesting. It's a really cool system the way it works. You get your blue light effect still, then it goes into an infrared type light, which gives enough light for you to walk through your barn still and check on anything. But the light, they've proven scientifically, does not affect your horse's sleep pattern at all after that. So it's a really cool thing. Look it up on their website. I had a lot of fun reading about that. Even just the technology they've put into that is amazing. That
Well,
we
we
can have a
were
proper
really
light.
interested in it because Jockey Boy doesn't like wearing hoods.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like
Yeah.
anything on his face, and I want the health benefit. He's 21 years old.
And the lights do get a fairly good coverage, so if you position them properly, you may be able to cover 2 stables. But jump on it. Have a talk to Amadine about it here in Australia, or your Equiloom rep wherever you are in the world. They're great reps. I've worked with most of them. They're fantastic. They know their gear. The technology in the company itself is fantastic. It's
And the
run by
scientists are
vets.
amazing. Yeah.
It's owned by vets. It's great. I love it.
All right, well, we will see you for the course. So if you're really struggling with your fear of people's opinions, we are actually going to do quite a structured course. I'm halfway through writing it at the
Cool.
moment.
Yep.
So we will see you soon.
Talk soon.
Thanks so much for listening, and don't forget in the comments to tell us what you need help with.
We hope you join us next time around as well.
Don't forget to subscribe so don't miss out on any videos.